For our podcast disclaimer, please visit the episode description. Thanks so much for listening to What the Heck is Happening in HR. And today we're going to talk about reset for 2024. Because your review probably happened at the end of the year, and it was probably rushed, and it probably had some words that were used in it the previous year. And you're going to have a quarterly one-on-one, hopefully coming up here pretty soon. I don't want you to miss the opportunity, whether you're the manager or the employee. And I want to be sure that you make the most of that one-on-one. So the first thing I want you to do is make sure your goals are true. Make sure you still think they're attainable. Make sure they get adjusted. Some organizations, I truly don't understand what they're thinking, don't want to move the goals. The goals are the goals. Well, if there's construction on the road and I have to take a detour, I can still get where I'm headed, but I have to move. So if a goal is set and then the budget's gone away, does that mean my goal gets hit? I take a hit in it in my compensation, all because you decided to change the budget? It just doesn't seem fair to me, but there's my tangent. So let's look at last year and let's look at those goals. Now, one of the ways to be able to see where you're spending your time is to color code your calendar. So if you're responsible for building relationships, say in the PR department, then color your calendar for being able to say, I spent 30% of my time this past quarter doing this. If you're in charge of building a budget and you spend a lot of time in budget meetings or educating new supervisors as to what to do with a budget, then color code it for that. If you think you're spending too much time in just meetings that don't really have anything to do with your goals, color code that. Because then you can go back to it and say, I really would like to get out of these meetings because I really want to focus on what I'm here to do. In your one-on-one, you want to own mistakes, but you don't want to just harp on it. Oh, I did this and I did that. Instead, what changed? What did you change to fix it? And what changed in you to make sure that it doesn't happen again? You do want to talk about what impact you have every time you meet with your supervisor. And supervisors, you should be sure to chat with the folks and let them know what impact are they having from your perspective. Reach out to people they work with to find out. So many times you're in charge of high ticket items, but you're not giving yourself credit for it. So if you work in HR, you're handling huge dollars for insurances. Working in payroll, you're talking about a big payroll number. You're talking about distributions out. You're talking about 401k compliance. So you want to be able to say, hey, I handled this payroll. We had 0 errors. We moved this much money in employer contributions to the insurances. We moved this much to our retirement plan. If you prepare board books, then you want to say, I prepared monthly board book, a quarterly board book of over 400 pages and got them all out on time. Whatever it is you do that's the reason your job exists, then celebrate what that is. If you're responsible for the media, how many placements did you have? Now, that can be hard because you're not placing those unless they're ads. But what relationships did you build? Who did you educate? Where did you show up in the community so you could build those relationships and get media placement? Be truthful. Don't say that you walk on water, because I can tell you that supervisors know that the people that do their own review and give themselves the best review are usually not their best performers. Their best performers generally are kind of tough on themselves. So think about what development you want to have. And don't come in and say, well, what do you think I should do? Instead, be able to say, I'd like to move into project management. So maybe I can take a class in project management and be able to see how I can apply that to my current job. Do you see us adding any jobs? Do you see us adding or expanding any departments? What would I need to do to be able to continue to get better at what I'm doing? Don't just go into your supervisor and say, what do I have to do to get the next job up? Instead, take everything you're bringing and be able to reflect on it, share it, celebrate it, and then be able to say, how do I grow what it is I've done? You want to stay away from some words of obligation, like have to. What do I have to do? Instead, really focus very positively on the fact that you want to and you get to. It's a tough job market because there is so much shuffling going on. So if you're in a job or a company or both that you really love, then continue to work hard at keeping it every day and think about what you want to do with it and what you get to do with it, because there are people who don't. One of the things we want you to do and you get to do is to subscribe to What the Heck is Happening in HR. We drop new episodes every Monday.